Okay, today we're going to use Rain-X's windshield repair kit. The kit comes with a base, resin, what they call the resin chamber, which screws right here into the base. What you're going to do is put it over your chip, center it over your chip. You're going to screw the resin chamber down so it's tight against the window. You can put resin in the resin chamber, and you're going to take the pressure driver and you're going to screw it in. That's going to put pressure on the resin and drive it into the crack. Once we're complete, we're going to move the assembly from the window. We're going to put a little bit more resin over the chip. We're going to put the curing strip over it. Then we're going to pull it into direct sunlight for about 10 minutes and let it cure. Once it's cured, we're going to remove the strip and we're going to scrape off the excess resin with a razor blade. All right, I'm going to show you how to get it done. Okay, now that we have the suction cup and the resin chamber centered over the crack, and we have this screwed down against the window to create a seal, we're ready to cut open the resin, and we're going to dump a little bit of resin in here. And then we're going to leave it for about anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes. This crack isn't that big, so I shouldn't need a whole lot of resin. We're going to try that first. And now we're ready to put our chamber in. What this is going to do is create some pressure to force the resin into the crack. If you have trouble getting the resin into the chip, you can press up from the inside of the window, but don't press too hard because you could make the crack run further. Because also you could try heating it up with a heat gun or a hair dryer. And again, don't get it too hot, but just heat it up enough to thin out the resin so it can get into the crack. Sometimes the resin doesn't go in, and because of air trapped into the crack, what you do then is just unscrew this last little plunger, let the air come out, and do the same step again with resin being forced into the glass. So I'm going to go inside and check and see if the crack is getting filled or not. Okay, from inside I can see there's resin running right here down the window a little bit, so I'm going to wipe that off. Now I'm going to tighten the lower chamber against the window a little bit more. Keep the resin from running, but it looks like all the resin is in the crack. Okay, the resin's been sitting here for a while. I want to make sure I get it completely into the crack. So what I'm going to do is do a second step where you just take the plunger out, a little bit more resin in, screw the plunger back in, essentially doing the same step again. Okay, it's been a while now, so I'm going to back off the pressure of the plunger, back off the seal from the window. You can see when you do that, there's some resin coming out, so I have a Scott towel ready. Let's go ahead and remove the whole assembly. Now you just put a little bit on the outside of the crack. Doing about a 1-inch circle. And put the plastic sheet over it. Now I'm ready to pull it outside and to leave it cure. Okay, it's actually been about 20 minutes, so we're going to pull the strip off. Now, one thing about these strips, if you had just a running crack, you wouldn't use the applicator and try to force it in. You would just put the resin along the crack and keep putting these strips across it. So it can work for bullseyes or a running crack. So you tend to want to cut the resin off. They actually say to scrape it at 90-degree angles. And actually, if you take the razor blade at 90-degree angles, like I say, it actually does work better. I'll go inside, see what it looks like. Okay, from the inside it looks completely filled. I just need to get the excess off. It says you don't have to be gentle with scraping it off. Okay, it's completely off. Let's go see what it looks like inside. Looks pretty good inside. Got the one little spot where the deepest part of the chip was. I'll take a picture and show it to you here in a second. Here's the final results. Right above my fingers, the chip that we just repaired. Okay, this is the chip right above my finger right here. It's the chip when you're looking kind of at an angle to it. So you can see a little bit more because you're at an angle. It's hard to see it if I go straight, but it's a good repair. It definitely looks like it will stop it from running.